I'm Dave, and this is Austin's Kamado Joe Masterclass.
14.5 hours. That's how long these ribs were on. And at the end of it, they still had not hit the temperature I was aiming for. My temperature probe was stuck at 184 degrees Fahrenheit. These beef dino ribs kicked my butt, and I'm going to tell you exactly how and why so the same thing doesn't happen to you. Let's start with what we're dealing with here. Beef dino ribs, technically beef plate ribs, are the big ones. The ones that hang off the plate and make your dinner guests go quiet for a moment when you set them down. They're cut from the short plate just below the prime rib. 3 bones, thick with meat, heavily marbled with fat. When they're done right, they deliver a deep, beefy flavor that's comparable to brisket. Some would argue even better. Stick around to the end of this video. The lessons I learned the hard way could save you a very long day. Let me walk you through the recipe first, because the recipe itself is solid. The problem wasn't the food or the recipe. The problem was me. One more thing before you cook. Check your ribs. Some beef ribs come with a very thick fat cap on top, and that needs to come off before they go on the grill. You want a thin, even layer, enough to protect the meat, but not so much that it creates a barrier to your smoke and rub. If yours has a fat cap on it, like these did, trim it down. I'm using lumped charcoal with chunks of hickory wood. Set up the Kamado Joe for indirect heat at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Add a drip pan with water underneath the cooking grate. That pan does 2 things. It catches the drippings, which means easier cleanup and no flare-ups, and it adds humidity to the cooking environment. On a long smoke like this one, that humidity helps the bark develop without the outside of the meat drying out. I used my fireboard temperature controller for this cook. Give the Kamado Joe time to stabilize before the ribs go in. You want a steady 250 degrees Fahrenheit, not a temperature that's still climbing when the meat hits the grate. And this is a long smoke. That's what these ribs require. You're rendering collagen slowly over many, many hours. That process cannot be rushed. Once the Kamado Joe is locked in at 250 degrees Fahrenheit, season the ribs generously on all sides. The dry rub is Texas Simple, kosher salt and black pepper. When you apply this to the ribs, it's going to build a dark caramelized bark as it smokes, exactly what you're after. These are large cuts with a lot of surface area, so don't be timid with the rub. Press the rub in with your hands so it adheres. The basting sauce was a simple 50-50 mixture of apple juice and water. That went into a squirt bottle. You'll be squirting those ribs every 30 minutes throughout the smoke. That's not optional. The basting is what makes these ribs what they are. Ribs go on bone side down. Insert your temperature probe into the thickest section of the meat, away from the bone. And that right there is where I made my first mistake. I'll come back to it a little later. My ambient probe monitored the temperature inside my Kamado Joe while the meat probe monitored the ribs. Close the lid, don't touch it, let the smoke and the heat work. I'm opening the lid every 30 minutes to squirt the ribs, then close the lid and walk away. At this point, the first 2 hours, everything looks right. The bark is developing, the color is coming along. The smell is exactly what you want out of a beef rib cook. Now here's something you need to understand about beef plate ribs before you attempt this. They stall. Just like brisket, there is a point, usually somewhere between 150 and 165 degrees Fahrenheit, where the internal temperature stops moving. The moisture evaporating off the surface of the meat is cooling it at exactly the same rate that the fire is heating it. That stall can last for a couple of hours. It can last 4. And if you're not mentally prepared for it, it will mess with your confidence. At hour 5, the ribs were at 148 degrees Fahrenheit. Hour 6, 155. Hour 7, 161. I expected to be approaching 170 by now, but these ribs are big. Hour 8, finally, 170 degrees Fahrenheit. When the ribs hit 170, I pulled them off the Kamado Joe. I sprayed them one more time with the basting sauce and then brushed on a thin layer of beef tallow. Then I wrapped them up tight in pink butcher paper and back on the grill. The goal was 208 degrees. That's the point where the collagen has fully broken down and the meat becomes genuinely pull-apart tender. The kind of texture that justifies this much time in the backyard. I was expecting 2 more hours, maybe 3, worst case. The temperature climbed to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Then it slowed. Then it stopped at 184, and it wasn't moving. I waited. I checked the probe. It was reading correctly. The hardware was fine. I waited some more, still 184. And then at the 12-hour mark, the coals went out. Ugh. At that point, I had a decision to make. Relight the Kamado Joe or move the ribs inside and finish them in the oven at 250. I moved them inside. I waited. Then I waited some more. 2.5 hours in the oven and the probe had not moved a single degree. 14.5 hours of cooking. Here's what went wrong. 2 mistakes, both of them on me. Mistake number 1, probe placement. When I inserted the fireboard temperature probe into the meat, I very likely hit a fat seam inside the rib. Fat doesn't heat the same way that muscle does. If that probe tip was sitting in a fat pocket, it would read a lower flat temperature, even as the surrounding meat was fully up to temperature and done. I confirmed the probe was working. The hardware wasn't the problem. Where I put the probe was. The fix for this is simple. Insert your probe deep into the thickest section of muscle you can identify parallel to the bone, deliberately avoiding any visible fat seams. Some pitmasters run 2 probes in different directions on a thick cut like this. For a cook that runs 12 plus hours, that's worth doing. Mistake number 2, I did not do the poke test. Beef ribs don't always follow the temperature chart rules. Just like brisket, they're done when they're done. And the most reliable way to confirm that is to poke the thickest part of the meat with your finger or a probe. If it gives under light pressure, the collagen has broken down and the ribs are done. Temperature is a guide, feel is the confirmation. I should have started the poke test at hour 10. Instead, I kept waiting for a number that never happened. That was 14.5 hours of cooking that could have ended at 12, maybe 10. After all that, I unwrapped those ribs and cut into them. They were really good, really good. The bark was dark and caramelized, the smoke ring ran deep into the meat. The interior was tender, not completely fall apart, but close. And with a little barbecue sauce on top, these were exactly what beef Dino ribs are supposed to be. These ribs are worth the time. Just make sure your probe is in the muscle, not the fat, and don't skip the poke test. I invite you to check out my Kamado Joe Owner's Handbook. This is a 100-plus page book that I've written that covers everything that you need to know about operating the Kamado Joe. It includes setup, seasoning, temperature control, troubleshooting, maintenance, and a lot of other pro tips and techniques. Now I want to hear from you. Have beef ribs ever stalled out on you? How long did your cook run? Drop that in the comments. I read every one. Hey, if you liked the video, let me know and please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I've got new videos at Austin's Kamado Joe Masterclass every week.